I'm Cody Webb, coming from United States, 30 years old, and I'm a hard-enduro rider, I guess.
But he's done it. He did enough, and as he said, a season for a reason. Did all the hard work in the early part of the year, so he just needs to defend in the second half of the year. And a girlfriend as well, a fiance.
You know, my dad used to compete in trials riding, so naturally I grew up every weekend going to events with him. I had my little wooden bicycle, and I would crash off rocks face first, 1, 2 years old. So, you know, my dad didn't start riding until he was 12 years old. And he had the same idea for me to wait till I was 12. And I think I was on a motorcycle before I was 4 years old. So I kind of forced the issue upon him. And I don't know, how long are we? 26 years later now, I have better balance on 2 wheels than my own 2 feet, basically. You know, I think growing up riding trials with my dad every weekend, he was a old school type rider with like the Bernie Stryber era and, you know, all the floater turns and nothing hopping. And you look at Tony Bo today, and I didn't grow up riding trials like Tony Bo. I grew up with really strong basics. Here I signed with Beta for trials and Enduro-Cross, kind of one of the few people to do focus on both. It's not that easy to do, and I was still riding trials and Enduro-Cross, some hard enduro stuff for Beta now. I came to Hell's Gate in Italy. As my results were kind of improving, that's kind of where it became difficult, because I lacked any sort of aggression, because coming from trials, you just kind of putt around and do your own thing. There's never intensity or aggression, to be honest. So the trickiest thing was basically learning how to get intensity. So a little bit of 2012, I started going to the motocross tracks and just riding with way faster people and learning how to be more aggressive and twist the throttle. And that's when I started seeing a big improvement in my results, was when I kind of just got out of my trials rider mentality, where if I was good at all the hard stuff and just putted around and went slow everywhere else, it just wasn't going to work anymore. I had to race in between all the obstacles. So, you know, I have my trials background with all the technical skills and a very strong base, but I had to improve on in between everything and charge. So that was the trickiest part for me. And even still, you know, I know I can be faster. This guy's faster than me, so I keep trying to improve with that aspect and the technical stuff at the same time. I've had really great success at Enduro-Cross and Super-Enduro, and personally I feel like I've had some really good success as well in the world of hard enduro. But honestly, you know, the reason why I've done well and put so much effort into Enduro-Cross and Super-Enduro is I treat it like a job. You know, it's high profile events. We have a lot of spectators, and it has a lot of media and marketing behind it. So for me personally, financially, like, it makes the most sense. I just fly in on the weekend, do my job, fly home. It's easy, it pays a hell of a lot better than hard-enduro events where half the time you don't even make any money. And I don't have a job. Like, this is my life and what I do, so I have to get by. But in all honesty, I love riding hard-enduro way more than anything to do with enduro-cross, super-enduro. That stuff hurts your body, man. You're slamming into stuff so hard. The bikes aren't really meant to do that stuff. And I love riding extreme-enduro. My favorite type of thing to do is just to go out in the mountains and explore and get lost, drop into a canyon, and kind of scare people, make them think that we're not going to be able to make it back out before it gets dark. Ultimate goal would be to win Thursburg Rodeo. You look at the list of people who've won that, and it's the top level. So I'd love to win that race. A couple years ago, I think when I was 26 or something, I was like, oh, I'll probably call it quits when I'm 30. Like, I think that's a good time, and I just turned 30 last year, and I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, that's a terrible idea. So, you know, I want to keep going. Who knows when I'll quit, but it'll be a time when I feel like I just don't want to put all that effort out there and not seeing the results I'm wanting. I got my mechanical engineering degree, and it was really tough, but I got through it, and now it's everything I do is towards riding and training and being focused on that. And I think maybe I have a little bit different approach compared to a lot of other riders, just because I think maybe more analytical than most. Maybe I'll take a step back before I do something and not just huck it and send it and hope for the best. So I think in my riding, I never really forced the issue. I can't read anything because Hebrew's backwards and the symbols don't make any sense to me. But, you know, everything on the road, they have English written on the bottom. So, you know, I may not be able to read something at the restaurant, but you can always ask for an English menu, and the directions you can get by because everything's in English at the bottom. But in terms of the Israelis in general, I mean, everyone's been so positive and kind to me. It's crazy. It makes me feel special when, you know, they come up to me after the training or before the training even begins, and they're just so appreciative to have me here and just learn from me and work together. So the people in general have been incredible, and the food obviously is really good. It's funny because they're always like, oh, here, try this, it's hummus. I'm like, I know, I've had hummus in America, but you know, it's kind of crazy to see just how the level of enduro has increased in Israel in just the last couple of years. I was talking to one of the owners of an agency, and they were saying how, I think it was 2006 or 2008, only like 100 enduro bikes were sold in the whole country of Israel, and now it's well over 1,000 a year, and 500 of them or something was KTM. And each of the trainings, I mean, almost everyone has a new TPI. So it was really cool to see, like, just how much of a short time span the sport of enduro has grown. And to be honest, I think it's been really helpful that Riders for Riders has been bringing some of the world's top hard enduro athletes and other trainers to the small country of Israel, and just bringing in a new positive outlook to basically increase the potential for everyone here in Israel, not just enduro, but motocross. I mean, we were training with kids who race motocross in Israel, out of Israel. So I think it's really awesome that Riders for Riders have given the people in Israel the opportunity to train with some of the best. And I think it's just opening up their eyes to see the potential of what could be.